Gurudev, everybody. This is Sampath Podar, and it's my honor to introduce Mr. Raju Ramanathan, known as Datta Yogi Raj. Many of us call him Raju Bhai or Raju Anna. He is a disciple of Sri Ganpati Sachidanand Swamiji of Mysore Datta Peeth. He is a scientist of both inner and outer world. Raju Bhai is a born meditator. At a very young age of 13, he started teaching meditation under the guidance of Swami Chinmayananda ji and Swami Sivananda ji. Professionally, he's an engineer, and after completing his PhD in space science, he worked as a consultant for NASA, Rockwell, and Honeywell in the US, and he made significant contributions in the field of ECG, X-ray machines, GPS, and many other fields of science and technology. Raju Bhai continued his passions of meditation with his fellows in the corporate world, and he acquired in-depth spiritual knowledge through several years of sadhana. He reintroduces the ancient knowledge of the modern world by incorporating his own inner experience using his scientific analytical mind. He retired in 1989, and since then he spends most of his time in sadhana and sharing his inner experiences with the corporate world and the seekers of spiritual growth. He has delivered hundreds of lectures on inner transformation. To many spiritual seekers look upon him as their inner guru, mentor, and teacher, and really enjoy his friendship on that field. Raju Bhai has blessings of well-known spiritual masters, including Sai Baba, Bhagwan Rajneesh, and even Gurudev. Gurudev, when he was visiting Dallas a couple of years ago, he mentioned about Raju Bhai as an ideal person who can help us to understand the intricacies of the inner path of our spiritual journey. As many of us people of intelligence, he is a man who has answers of thousands of questions this intelligent mind keeps on bringing with us. He is the one who really shows us the path of trust and spirituality, from where it becomes easy for all the intellectual minds not to turn back, but move more and more in their sadhana. Raju Bhai has been spending several months with us during this COVID period in North America, where he has given more than 80 sessions on meditations, and many of us who have joined have really learned their path and have moved up on this spiritual journey. This is a golden opportunity for all of us Guru Bhakts who have not been able to get to know him, to learn the basics of meditation, and I hope you find your journey with his kind guidance. With that note, I invite Pujya Raju Bhai to come and hold our hand and take us on this spiritual journey. Jai Gurudev. Raju Bhai.
Jai Gurudev. Dattatreya Samarambham Trisummadhika Madhyamam Asmat Acharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Om Sri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Sri Saraswatyai Namaha. Om Sri Padavallabha Nrasimha Saraswati Sri Guru Dattatreya Namaha. With great love and reverence, I welcome you all into my heart, and let us today enter into the very special angle, special aspect of the Dasara, the 10 nights for you in India, 10 days for us here. So the focus will be more based on, because I want to link the Dasara festival into the dimension of meditation. So that's a challenge. And also I want to take you a glimpse, give you a glimpse into a very special Sri Chakra Upasana, which I perform on a daily basis. So I need to bring all these dimensions together. And because everybody is chanting Durga Saptasati or Devi Mahatmyam on a regular basis during this time, I will take up just a small portion of it, and then from there take makes more like a launching platform from there. And I will take you through different angles of the Durga. That's why I call it Navadurga Upasana. So all these 9 dimensions of meditation will come out of that. Then I will merge these 9 dimensions into the 9 avaranas of the Sri Chakra, the Sri Yantra. So it's a big challenge because I have an audience starting from the age 13 to whatever. And so if some of you find that I'm too way down here, I'm not giving you anything of depth, just wait. It will come. And for those who are just in school trying to understand what I'm saying, in the beginning, you will find it easy, and then later on it will get tougher and tougher. You can just take a break and then come back again. There is always something for you. I'm trying to pull you up as well. You know, I have a 5-year-old as my neighbor, and this guy is talking to me about, Lemurian civilization, Atlantis civilization, and so many things which is mind-boggling to me. You know, I know about it, but have a conversation with him. So I will do justice to the entire spectrum of the audience. So just bear with me, and slowly I'll get there. First, I want to put this Navaratri in the context in a very simple way. So Dasara means the 10 days of worship, very popular festival in India. It lasts for 10 days beginning on the first day of the Hindu month of Ashwin, September-October month. And it is celebrated actually in various ways all over the country. Gujarat will do it one way, Bengal will do it another way, and Tamil Nadu, Madras state will do it in another way. But no matter what, many of the fundamentals are still the same, right? It is observed also as Durga Puja, because Vijay Dasami, celebrating the victory of Sri Rama over the demon Ravana, also is a part of that on the Vijay Dasami day. So because of this, there are people who will be burning the Ravan in a Ravan made of hay and everything else. That celebration will go in some part of India as well. So overall, it is Navaratri, the festival of 9 nights. Who is Durga? Who is so much talked about? Durga, goddess, was actually created by the 3 gods, Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara, for the specific purpose of destroying those demons. And the demons sent their most powerful representative Mahishasura in the form of a buffalo to fight Durga. So the goddess fights with this great demon and kill him. What is the buffalo? The buffalo represents the lower animal instincts in man in an aggressive form as well. And goddess represents Durga, the higher, nobler tendencies, also in the aggressive form. That is a form of Durga. So only aggressive can handle the aggressive, right? Now let us look at man. Man is the mere expression of his inner nature. Man's inner nature falls in two broad classifications. You can either call them aggressive or passive. And again, each of these is again two types, depending on their qualities of goodness or badness. So now how many combinations you have? 4 distinct natures covering the entire range of the inner personality of human beings. Clear? A passive man is one who is functioning according to the fancies of his mind without the intervention of his own intellect. He will follow a mechanical routine, some traditional pattern of life, and his actions will emanate from his feelings and emotions, and not from his discriminative intellect. He does not even question the merit or demerit of his action. He will live blindly the life set by maybe someone who told him, some elders in the family told him whatever they knew. So that's about it. And the environment and circumstances will shape his individuality instead of his individuality shaping them. So in short, what is happening? He is living an unintelligent life of passive acceptance of whatever he is encountering in the world. He has neither the initiative nor the enthusiasm to utilize his resources intelligently for a more purposeful, more meaningful life. Now, passivity in the man now can lean towards good or bad. Let us look at both sides. A passively bad man is one who is involved in wrong, immoral activities, but does not intend to be so. He does not willfully or cunningly plan or scheme activities to meet his private ends. He does not mean to be bad. He merely continues a wrong way of life inherited from his past. His intellect does not consciously analyze and supervise his activities or even their repercussions. So he is caught up in a mode of living which happens to be bad. He is caught up in the mode of living, so it is with a passively good man. Okay? Now, a passively good man is involved in a way of life. It happens to be moral and benevolent. He may not realize his activities to be good. He simply executes his good impulses. He may not even intend to be virtuous. A passively good man also does not intellectually analyze and supervise his abilities or their consequences. Such unintelligent benevolence at times, it may even prove detrimental to himself or his community. Now, let us look at the aggressive nature of man's personality. This is distinct and different from his passivity. So now, to the contrary to the passively bad, an aggressively bad man is one who intends to be bad. He willfully, viciously plans and schemes, manipulates and maneuvers even corrupt and immoral ways of life for meeting his own selfish ends. Yes, he may have even no scruples to follow. He breaks customs, traditions, rules, regulations just to get things done, to satisfy his own ego and egocentric desires. The aggressive are more powerful. They dominate over the passive good and the passive bad we talked about. The simple reason for their superiority in life is that they employ their intellect, whereas the passive use only their mind in their activities. Now, an aggressively good person is one whose basic nature is good. He also uses his power of discrimination all the time to decide the type of activities he wants to execute. He does not act impulsively. He studies the facts, foresees the consequences, reasons carefully, and acts in the best interest of all. At times, the actions of the aggressively good may appear bad, but they are always beneficent to the core. Even if they are angry or whatever, that is only to be kind. So even a single aggressively good person present in a community can bring about a lot of prosperity, a lot of happiness and peace to all of its people. The proportion of the passive individuals in any society generally far exceeds the aggressive. Why? Because most human beings are simply content to lead a routine stereotype life. They don't care to exert and strive to achieve anything beyond a mechanical existence. True or not? The aggressive ones who utilize their superior power of reason and reflection are far and few in between, few in number. And even among the aggressive, the percentage of good is even smaller. So, this law pertaining to the inner personality of human beings holds good universally, right? So, this is why I'm slowly making you to understand why the Durga Shakti is what she is. And so we are slowly getting there, okay? Let us complete with this analysis, intellectual analysis. The law pertaining to the inner personalities of human beings is good universally. The layman is not even aware of its existence, much less does he understand how it functions. So, he does not make use of the law in practical living. He can become frustrated in life. He may complain bitterly, world is polluted. Honesty does not pay these days. Why do good and be honest? Why should good and honest have to suffer at the hands of bad and dishonest? Looks like a valid question. The problem is easily answered in the light of the above analysis which I did of that human nature. The vast majority of human beings are passive. The aggressive bad could prey on the passive good and the bad. They intelligently calculate and manipulate things to benefit themselves at the expense of others. So the passive ones are naturally the victims of any of the vicious practices. Passive continue to be passive. They simply mumble and grumble at the success of the aggressive. Is it not what is happening in the modern days? The only solution to the problem is for them to drop that inertia and operate with their intellect. They must appreciate the working of the law of human nature. Remaining in their mental, emotional plane, they cannot combat or even conquer those who operate from a higher level of human personality. They must employ their available intellectual faculties and seek intellectual guidance from others to meet the viciousness of the aggressively bad. So, does the passive have to turn into aggressive goodness to be able to fight and conquer the aggressively bad elements in society? And that's what Durga is doing. Because Brahma, Vishnu, Shankara, by themselves, they cannot handle the Mahishasura. Each one gave together they gave their Shaktis and they had to create. Because, for example, Brahma is Rajaguna, Vishnu is Sattva-guna, and Maheshwara is more or less Tamaguna, right? So, together they have to create Durga Shakti to be able to win over Mahishasura, which is the problem today in the whole world, is Mahishasura's control. So the victory of Durga is the triumph of the aggressive good over the evil, the destruction of the vasanas and the samskaras and unnecessary desires, and thus realize one's own divine self, my friends. You know that even in Ramayana, you read, Sri Rama is said to have performed Durga Puja and invoked the blessings of the goddess before he left for Lanka to fight Ravana. Rama killed Ravana and regained Sita. So that story again represents the destruction of evil Ravana and the reunion with the Supreme Self, which is Rama. These 9 days of worship is divided into 3 days of worship for each of the 3 goddesses. Durga, the goddess of protection and valor. Lakshmi, goddess of wealth. And Saraswati, the goddess of knowledge. 3 days. 3 plus 3 plus 3 makes the 9. The 10th day, Vijayadashami, is the day of victory, when in India you will see huge effigies of the demon Ravana are burnt with fireworks. Then that will be followed by feasting, entertainment, rejoicing, and everything. What is this effigy of Ravana? What does it mean? It represents the ego. The fireworks is the battle with the ego. So when all these vasanas are all destroyed, the self, the Atman, is realized. So my friends, worship of Durga for the first 3 days of the festival signifies destruction of the negative tendencies or vasanas inherent in man, like jealousy, greed, passion, etc. Next 3 days of worship of Lakshmi will signify the establishment of positive tendencies like affection, charity, forgiveness, etc. The last 3 days dedicated to Saraswati is the gaining of knowledge of the Supreme Self. 3 days are allotted to each goddess to indicate the discipline and the training to be practiced at the 3 levels of personality, which I talked about, namely physical, mental, and intellectual, all 3, to achieve the goal set up for each type of the worship. The 9 days of spiritual discipline and training are only symbolical. And the 10th day, Vijayadashami, that's the day I was born, represents the day of enlightenment, when all vasanas are destroyed and the knowledge of the self has dawned in the individual. And then the individual is attained self-realization and eventually will attain also God realization as well. In the next few sessions, I'll tell you the difference between all of these various paradigms that I post and give you some glimpse. For today, I think we finished about half an hour. So today I pray to the Devi Navadurga. I go to the Durga Saptasati and give you the corresponding words, how I am planning my multi-dimensional meditation for the next days. The sloka is actually from Devi Kavacham of Durga Saptasati. Pratamam Shailaputri cha Dvitiyam Brahmacharini Tritiyam Chandra Ganteti Kushmandeti Chaturtakam Panchamam Skandamateti Shashtam Katyayaniti cha Saptamam Kalaratri Mahagauriti cha Ashtamam Navamam Siddhidatri cha Navadurga Prakirtitaha. This is the Devi Kavacham verse 3 to 5 of Sri Chandi. So you see me moving my hand through my body. So if you look at all these names, there is an inner meaning of every name which is given here. It's like in our scriptures are like little atoms, you need to go in and explore the inner meanings. Then there is so many things emerge out of them. It is not like a superficial study like Max Muller did in Germany and then say, oh, this looks like some nature worship. It's not like that. There's tremendous potential of all scientific knowledge in this. Science of the inner world and science of the outer world as well. Okay. So Pratamam Shailaputri. And Shailaputri, I put my hand on the head. Brahmacharini, I put my hand on the forehead. Tritiyam Chandra Ganteti, Ganta on the neck. Kushmandeti Chaturtakam, I put my hand on the trunk region, the lungs, heart, that region. Fifth is Skanda Mata. I put it on the solar plexus, which is my navel chakra. You know where your navel is. Sixth is Katyayani, just below the navel. Seventh is where the Kundalini Shakti is in the Mooladhara chakra, where you are sitting. Where is it? Exactly where you are sitting. And that is called Kalaratri. Then the eighth is Mahagauri. And ninth is Siddhidatri. So what I did for Mahagauri, I just focused on the inner light within myself. Then on the ninth, Siddhidatri, all the 8 siddhis and everything, I went to chakra by chakra from below. With my hand like this. One. This is the worship of Navadurga. This is the basis of Navadurga Upasana. What is Upasana? Asana means to sit. Upa means by the side. That means you have to sit by the side of this Devi, not somewhere you put something, some vigraha and put all the flowers. That is good. But you need to understand the inner world of the puja. From there, you can go to higher dimensional understanding of yourself, and which will take you to yogic realizations, which is where I'm taking you to. What yogic realization I felt in my own life starting from the age of 13. And I'll give you those glimpses, snapshots of each one. Some of you have been listening to me, and if I go over each one of them now, the inner meaning, the whole day will be taken only in the top. So I wanted to stop my talk. I'll give you a little glimpse of what is meditation today. So you experience and live today, and tomorrow you come, I will go into each of these Navadurgas and explode and lead you into that. Make you become an inner explorer yourself and rediscover all of those Shaktis within yourself. I'm trying to turn on my CD, be patient. I take refuge at the feet of all awakened ones. I take refuge at the energy field and thought forms and communities of all the awakened ones. I take refuge in the Dhamma that causes the awakening in the awakened ones. Oh, peace, peace, shanti, shanti, shanti. Close your eyes and listen. Meditation is the art of being at home with yourself, with the outer self, with the inner self, and the innermost self. Meditation is the art of increasing realization that you are more than the physical body, the energy body, and deeper levels of consciousness body, and the ultimate. Contrary to what is said by many, meditation is actually very easy. One of the foundational blocks is the very thought that meditation is difficult.
It is said in the literature. And constantly repeated by those who talk about it, that the mind is like a monkey. It goes from branch to branch of trees endlessly, and there is nothing you can do about it. This idea is so ingrained that it makes meditation difficult and impossible. Let me give you a new understanding. Which will give you a quantum leap from the current thought forms about meditation into a zone where it is easy and seamless. Mind is not a monkey. Mind is a honeybee that is roaming around from flower to flower. But once it finds a flower where there is honey, it alights and descends onto that flower. And you will not find anything more concentrated than a honeybee, because it is now enjoying the honey, taking it slowly into its own being from the flower. So this concentration happens naturally in us as well. Carefully remember this analogy. When you sit for meditation, at some point in time, this is bound to happen, that the mind gets in contact with something beyond the mind, which is somewhat like a nectar dropping down from the higher levels of your being, even the higher layers of the body, which are its counterparts. And then concentration becomes natural and spontaneous. This heart has to be learned personally from a teacher, a coach, a master, traditionally passed on in that sacred manner. It's true, you cannot read this from a book and practice it. So we offer for you here a methodology, a mechanism to how to delve deep into yourself using certain tools which are inherent in creation in your own body, mind, soul system. What are they? You have the breath, which is one, happening constantly, both consciously and unconsciously. The second method is using a particular sound, a unique sound that acts like a seed. It's a syllable that acts like a seed to sow seeds of consciousness in your unaware state, and then sprouts from there into awakened consciousness. Those who know Sanskrit know it as a mantra. But a mantra is different when it is used for meditation and when it is used for the normal visualization and realization of certain deities and gods or other spiritual figures which are traditionally associated with it. So one is the breath, other is the sound. And as I told you, within the sound, one uses its special effects. One uses the general effect of the mantra. To go deep in meditation, one uses just the general effect of the mantra. So a constant repetition is unnecessary. Because it will only take you away from where you want to go. So a mechanical repetition of the sound is not recommended. This is the difference in this practice when we use the sound for meditation compared to what is traditionally known as the japa. Same with the breath. There are differences, subtle differences in this approach where the breath is not used for your concentration. You do not control, manipulate, modify, or change the breath or its frequency in any form. This is not pranayama, but this is combining your own awareness of the breath with the energy contained in the breath. So these are the two methodologies we will talk about. Both are equally valid. One may work at a certain time for a certain person, and for the same person it may not work at other times. Only you can experiment and experience the difference when it works and when it does not. But certainly one of them is bound to work. Another assumption here is that when you start the meditation, you are not already in a disturbed state of the mind. If you are, then a bigger weapon is necessary to handle that disturbance through a totally different methodology and dissipate that energy, that additional energy, which came from the disturbance, normalize it, equalize it, and then do some stretching. And only then you sit for the meditation. If you simply sit, closing your eyes with a disturbed mind, you'll be more disturbed perhaps. It's better to stay with eyes open at that time. So with that exception, at normal times, it is possible to work with the breath and the sound. So both will be described. Wherever you are, sit comfortably with your eyes closed. We will now learn how to work with the breath. Just take a few deep breaths and relax. Take another deep breath and relax even more. Simply put your attention on the breath. Just go in as the breath goes in, as if you are going in with it. And go out with the breath as it is going out. Do a few times. You are not changing, modifying anything with the breath. Now imagine as if in your heart region, a part of you is smiling. And you smile and you breathe into that region with a smile on your face. it's important to create this smile. Again, you are with the breath, simply being with the breath. Breathing in the joy that came from the breath and from the smile. And breathing out anything that is not joy out of the system. Breathing in calmness and composure. And breathing out any tension, any strain that you find. Do a few times. And now become aware of any sensations in the body. Allow these sensations to be just the way they are. Do not change anything. Do not resist anything. Just give them space to be there. Anywhere in the body. Let them be there. Pleasant, unpleasant. No judgment. Let them be there. Continue being aware of the breath. Now become aware of what thoughts you are having in the mind. Simply being aware. Not resisting, not clinging to those thoughts. Simple observation.
We will continue with the meditation tomorrow.
Continue being with the breath.
You can continue being in meditation by yourself in the same way, because we are coming to the close of the session. To respect the other people who come after this, I end the session here today. And we'll continue the meditation session tomorrow. Take a few deep breaths and slowly open your eyes. Jai Gurudev. Back to you,
Thank you.
Sampath.
Thank you very much, Raju Bhai. I'm sure those who are on this Zoom have got the glimpse of it. This is the beginning. Please continue on this divine path, what Raju Bhai has initiated. And we'll see you all tomorrow. Jai Gurudev.
Jai Gurudev.
Thank you, Shri Raju Ramanathan ji, for putting us on the path of Navdurga Upasana. I know this is just the beginning, and slowly, steadily, you will take us through this path and make it easier for us in the days to come. Thank you. Thank you so much.